I'm going to tentatively give another example of this just in the realm of jokes. But this is difficult because jokes are very complex, it's very murky. But you can talk about jokes that ridicule and attack some other, right? And jokes that implicate you in the attack of the other. The first I would call reactionary jokes, and the second emancipatory jokes. Now that doesn't in any way mean that jokes can't be offensive. If you go into any bar in Northern Ireland and you talk to people, you can only become friends with them when they tell you an offensive joke about being a Protestant or being a Catholic. You know, in the old days during the Troubles, one of the ways to break down difference and create a social bond was precisely through sharing offensive jokes with the person that you are attacking, right? And the way that works is if you tell an offensive joke, say, you know, in Northern Ireland, is a joke about Protestants or something to a Protestant, part of the joke is you're implicating yourself as I'm an offensive sectarian person, right? So by telling the joke, you're not only, you know, making a joke about a stereotype, you're making the joke about you being the type of person who is so offensive and sectarian that you would make a joke about stereotypes, right? So, but you're implicated in the enjoyment, right? So always emancipatory enjoyment is about a type of critique that doesn't split the world into goodies and baddies, does not scapegoat, does not have an ideological edifice and then have some exception that you attack, which really is what generates your jouissance. So what does all this mean? Well, in concrete terms, it's always important for us to ask ourselves, how do I get my jouissance? Look at what you do, don't listen to what you say, because in fact, the first thing you think, if you say, well, I don't get my enjoyment from X, that's often a hint that you do. In analysis, you watch out for the rejection, right? In analysis, you watch out for the person who says, I had a dream and it definitely wasn't about my mother, right? You go, like, I didn't even say it was, right? So the fact that you're saying it definitely wasn't about my mother, right, might mean it's about your mother. So if you're listening to your consciousness, listen to what you immediately say isn't the case, and then ask yourself whether the opposite's true. But also look at what you do. How do you act online? What kind of ways do you talk to your friends? And, you know, just begin to look at your own way of extracting jouissance from the world. And you know, in just that act, not even trying to change anything, just the act, radical grace means you don't have to do anything. All you do is create a space where you can see yourself and potentially see something that you wouldn't want to see, right? So that radical space of becoming aware of your jouissance is enough to change it. So this isn't about changing from ideological jouissance to emancipatory jouissance. It's a more complicated idea. It's the idea that simply becoming aware of your jouissance changes your relationship to it. You know, you can make an argument that all jouissance at its core is emancipatory once you become aware of it, or able to symbolize it, or able to understand it. So